What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 263, and we start today's episode off with a youth score monthly report here. And you also saw that one of our youth players accepted his contract. That was Jonathan Beer, the goalkeeper we've got. I think I actually might have showed that in one of the previous episodes, although I don't think I did. I looked through them just before I did his commentary, so if you're going to see his stats again, I apologise, but I couldn't see them in a previous episode, so I thought I'd just show them just to be on the safe side. You've also got a youth score monthly report. You can see how the players are doing just there. I actually released one of those players because he didn't look very good. Not that it matters anymore, obviously, but you know, why not? And we also had some conversations there. Ezekiel, it was actually funny. I didn't see the first episode, the first email, I should say, where he asked me to play in the last game, which of course he didn't play in. And so straight after that, he said, you know, he's disappointed not to start. So I got both of those emails in one go: the request and the disappointment. And also, Glenn Robinson said he's happy that he's getting in to see him a bit more. And again, with Robinson, I talked about it before. You'll see his stats in a minute. I'm really disappointed, but you know, I always hold my hands up when I get something wrong. I never blame it on the game. I'll always say, you know, if I've got something wrong, it's my fault. And with Robinson, you know, I made a huge error, didn't I? I spent, I think it was £38 million on him or something ridiculous like that, because I genuinely believed that after his fantastic first couple of seasons at Spurs, when we signed him, we'd buy the guy and he'd go up to like high 80s, you know, but by the end of the series, and instead he's still an 84. I think he might have actually grown one rating, but other than that, he's been really disappointing. So I got that wrong. I hold my hands up. I made a mistake with Robinson. Having said that, you know, he's still a decent member of our squad, even though he's now a bench player, as Eric Dier plays CDM now in his place alongside Scott Triggs. He's still a decent player, and of course, with 9 games to go, as you can see here, we are currently leading the league by 6 points, although Arsenal do have a game in hand on both us and Spurs in second and first, and if they win their game in hand, they will move up to second and be 4 points behind us. So have to say, I've been really impressed with Arsenal, and I'm pleased that Arsenal have done so well this season, because you know, over the past 2 seasons it's been, well, the first season was Chelsea, Spurs and Millwall on the final day, second season Spurs and Millwall, and this year I thought it would be Spurs and Millwall again. Thankfully it looks as though it could be Arsenal challenging, hopefully us obviously, and also Spurs too for the title. But John Veyer, another academy player, also accepted his contract. You saw Beer's stats there, the goalkeeper that can also play CM, so how about that for versatility? And also Vela as well. Actually really disappointed about the latter, because he was one of our hottest academy products. You know, he actually looked like a type of player who we could sign, loan him out for one season and then start to breed him into the first team. Unfortunately, he looks really poor, so that's a real shame. Of course, again, it doesn't matter, it's just trivial. Like, we'll never use the guy, as this is our last season of career mode. It's a trivial factor for me, really, but it would still have been nice to have, you know, signed one decent young player from our academy and, you know, basically just set him up for the future, just to pretend that maybe the virtual game would carry on and they'd use them in years to come. But anyway, we take on Chelsea for the first game of today's episode here in Champions League Champions League quarter-final even, second leg. And after winning the first leg at the Den by, what was it, 3-0, we came into this game knowing that really Chelsea, well, they'd have to score a lot of goals and they'd have to make sure they wouldn't concede that vital away goal, otherwise they are definitely going out. And you know, despite the fact we were certainly going to be heavy favourites to go through, I still didn't rest aside, because this year in particular, I've taken no chances whatsoever, and you guys have seen that, particularly in the FA Cup. Usually I'm fine resting my players in European competitions when the first leg has been a comfortable victory. I'm fine resting my players in the FA Cup games, but this year I haven't rested my players at all, to be honest. They've been, you know, pretty much all of the players have been starting on a regular basis, and the reason being is because I just don't want to make any mistakes. I don't want to leave it to chance and see myself go out of these competitions, because I do really want to win the treble this year, as it'll be the first time we've done that in English football, and it'll be a great way to end the series. But we went 1-0 up in the first half for Escalon, and so because of that, we had a 4-goal advantage going into the second half, and that meant that Chelsea would have to score 5 goals in 45 minutes. Sounds impossible, but well, they weren't going to give up, let's just say that, because they did score in the 51st minute, and what a goal it was. A lovely overhead kick, cross got played into the centre there, and it was Traore. Traore got the goal. Lovely little overhead kick there. Is it Bertrand Traore? something like that. Wonderful overhead kick regardless, and Chelsea do get themselves back on level terms on the night, but even though they just scored, they'd still need to score 4 more goals, so I still wasn't worried or anything, but it was still disappointing to score. But if I'm going to concede, at least it's a great goal like that. Malanda almost put us back in front in this game on the night with a halfway line goal. That went just wide the post. What a goal it would have been. I know I should stop doing it really, because I don't think it's going to happen again, but I'm so desperate to score another halfway line goal before the series ends, just to add to the one I've already scored. But even so, it was 1-1, and we made it 2-1 in the 59th minute. It was an overhead kick goal ourselves as well, so 2 overhead kick goals in one game. This time it was ours, of course, and Ezekiel got it. Lovely little run down the right hand side by Escalainen, who got our first goal, chips the ball into the centre. Ezekiel peels off his marker, and it's a lovely overhead kick to make it 2-1. So we're back in front in this game, and Chelsea would have to score another 5 goals, which it didn't seem like they were going to be able to do. But regardless, I was very pleased to get myself back in front on the night, because even though this game, you know, we could lose it 3 or 4-0 and still go through, I still wanted to get the result. You know, I really did. And as you can see, now we were 2-1 up. It still felt, I guess it just looked good, if you know what I mean. It looked good for us. And in the 69th minute, a great ball forward by Robinson, I think it was, found Ezekiel, and Balabi, the former Real Madrid goalkeeper, the German, brought him down, and it's a penalty and also a booking for the German goalkeeper as well. And he can't really have much complaints, even though he'll tell the referee it wasn't a penalty, because as he went in there, Ezekiel rounded him and he brought him down with his leg. So penalty to Millwall, a great chance to compile the misery in front of the Chelsea fans here to make it 3-1 in the 71st minute. Sorry, it's Leao Gutierrez, our captain, our Brazilian skipper, the original Scout Future star. He stands over the ball and scores as well. Gutierrez makes it Chelsea 1, Millwall 3. The goalkeeper dives the right way, to his credit, but he can't keep it out. We're 3-1 in front, and my maths is terrible, but I'm pretty sure Chelsea now needed to score 7 goals to go through in the next 20 minutes, which, let's be honest, I couldn't see them doing. So 3-1 on the night, 7-1 on aggregate, and a fantastic quarter-final tie this has been if you're a Millwall fan. And the misery for Chelsea continues, and it's strange, you know. I mean, they had such a bad start in the league, and they then started to climb the table a bit more. And you saw the wide league table there. They have climbed the table well. They've recovered from their diabolical start. They're in the Champions League quarter-finals, but this year playing against Chelsea, it's just been a bit of a formality for me, really. Which, you know, for me, it's quite nice, but even so, it's still surprising. But it was 4-1 here. Danny Ings scored. João Cancelo's shot was saved by the goalkeeper, but Danny Ings followed in with a rebound. That goal actually made it 7-1. The Gutierrez one made it 6-1. Yes, my maths is terrible, you don't need to tell me. But that goal made it 7-1, so Chelsea now would have to score 7 goals themselves. But as you can see there, we almost made it 5-1 late on, but Bartley's head hit the post. And the game did finish Chelsea 1, Millwall 4, so as you can see, it was indeed 7-1 on aggregate. I did get that wrong first time, but yeah, 7-1 on aggregate. We are through to the Champions League semi-finals. Absolutely delighted as we try and retain our trophy. It's going to be difficult. There are some great teams left in there. Real Madrid, of course, last year's finalists, one of the best sides in the world. Inter Milan, who thrashed Liverpool 4-0. They've been brilliant this year, clearly. And also our former club, Napoli, who we turned into one of the best sides in the world. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult, but whoever we get in the semi-finals, it will be difficult. But I'm still hopeful. But following that, we rejected international offers from Bulgaria, I think it was, and also Wales too, because, again, it's not even worth considering because the series ends at the end of this year. I've said before, I don't mind just sort of managing a nation for the last few episodes just to I guess just as a trivial thing really to end the series whilst I'm managing a country as well as a club, but the reality is I'm not really that fussed about it, and even if I'll just simulate a couple of games, it doesn't seem like there's much point to it, so I might just turn the Portugal one down as well, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But following that, we had a game against Blackburn for the second and final game of today's episode. So Blackburn Rovers, a newly promoted side here, we take them on at Ewood Park, thoroughly expecting us to get this win. Blackburn currently hovering just over the relegation zone, so you'd expect us to win this game really, but they're not a bad side, Blackburn. They've got a couple of our old players in Kwame Marsh, the centre forward we sold to them. Also, is it Spearing, I think, the centre-back, or something like that. Anyway, they've got a couple of our old players, and they've got some good players. In FIFA 13 career mode, I had a player called Jordan Slew was starting up top for them. He was really, really good, and Henley's a decent fullback in my opinion, and Grant Hanley, why did I say Scott Dan? Grant Hanley, in my opinion, is a really underrated centre-back as well in real life. I think he's very good, so, they've actually got a decent side, but regardless, I still felt fully confident in getting a result, but it wasn't until the hour mark, really, when we really started to come into life, because before that, yes, we'd have a couple of chances, but we were still looking a bit subpar. Every time we went forward, we didn't really look threatening, and in the 88th minute, it was still Blackburn 0, Millwall 0, and I was sitting there thinking, are we going to slip up in this game, which we really should get the win with ease? I wouldn't mind too much, because a draw isn't too bad a result, considering the fact we still got a few points against our rivals, but regardless of such, in the 90th minute, well, we were bailed out by the man who we all thought was going to be the cult hero of the series. It never really worked out. Partly my fault, as I didn't give him as much game time as I would have liked to. Having said that, he does come up with a big goal here. Who is it? It's John Joe Anderson. He comes off the bench. You'll see it in the bottom left. He comes on for, I'm not sure who it was he came on for, but regardless, he ended up smashing the ball after running clear into the bottom corner. A real surprise to say John Joe Anderson ran clear, because he doesn't have too much pace at all, but Anderson did rescue the game with seconds to go, made it Blackburn 0, Millwall 1 with the final attack of the game, and we do win the game by a goal to nil. So Anderson, well, he'll never be a cult hero, but he'll still be a hero this season if we do go on to win the title by 1 or 2 points, because that was a big goal when we needed it most. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, then please do leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.
So it's full time with the final score 1-0. I'll leave you with the